minus 15, 14, 13, T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have.
The throw down will be late. Stolen base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here he comes again. The throw will be safe. He just went into the league lead. There's a situation with Glenn Davis coming up that you might have him look for the home run here. He rips one. Left field. Coleman looks. It's gone. Home run. There's a drive to left. Going, and gone. Holy Toledo. The big bopper strikes. Strike 3 call. Number 11 for Scott. What a pitch he came up with. 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody out. Strikeout number 8 for Scott.
Speed, power, and heat. The story of the 1988 Houston Astros. Brought to you by Skittles, sponsors of the Astros Youth Baseball Clinics.
Skittles, Skittles, bite-sized candies, taste the rainbow of fruit flavors. Skittles, Skittles, bite-sized candies, taste the rainbow of fruit flavors. Colorful candy shells, fruit flavors in the middle, strawberry, grape, orange, lemon, lime. Taste the rainbow of fruit flavors. Skittles, Skittles, bite-sized candies. Taste the rainbow of fruit flavors in Skittles.
As the 1989 season draws closer, the club's annual journey to Florida for spring training begins to take shape. But you know, the Astros have been in the pennant race in August each of the last 3 years, and they've added some new faces to the roster this year to make another run at the World Series. And not the least of those is Art Howe, the former player who's returning as the club's new manager. The organization is optimistic, but a manager is only as good as the players on his ball club. And this team actually began taking shape last spring in Bill Wood's first season as general manager. Spring training began late in February in Florida with a sense of both hope and relief. The pressure of trying to repeat as division champion was now gone, but the hope to return to that lofty 1986 perch was renewed.
I'm certainly aware that we need to win. We're a contending ball club, and we think we've got the ingredients to be a contender and to win the thing.
The Astros welcome back some old and new faces expected to play key roles in the coming season. Among them, a trio of pitchers: versatile Danny Darwin, setup man Larry Anderson, and closer Dave Smith. All free agents who were eligible to go elsewhere, but chose to stay in Houston.
I think deep down, you know, I talked to Larry and I talked to Smitty that we did want to come back here because we had the nucleus of a good ball club.
It didn't surprise me at all that we all came back. I think the pitching has been a mainstay of this organization for a long time.
Dr. McMullen showed that he's committed to winning. You don't go out and get to sign every free agent that's available to leave and get other players that are, you know, we've got some more pitchers, and they sign players like that. It shows they're committed to winning.
Another reason for optimism was the new face at shortstop, former Atlanta Brave Rafael Ramirez, acquired in the offseason for a pair of minor leaguers and expected to provide some much-needed offensive punch.
I feel really happy because I'm going to have the other chance to play every day, and I hope I can help the team because for the last 2 years I've been seeing that the Astros have a good team and they have a chance to make it all the way.
I think he's going to surprise everyone in Houston with the quality of his play. We think he's going to be an average to above average performer in the league, which we'll take right now.
Even the player Ramirez would replace in the Astros lineup, veteran Craig Reynolds, agreed Rafael would be a valuable addition.
For the long haul, it's good for the club, and hopefully for the short term it is also. And I think Rafael will do a good job. I think him going to AstroTurf is going to make him a better ball player.
And as always, one of the priorities in spring training is to answer some burning questions.
Was Robin Hood's mother known as Motherhood? How do you know when you're running out of invisible ink?
No, not those questions. Important questions, like could Bob Knepper rebound from a disastrous 1987 season and become a consistent winner again?
I look for him to bounce back because, you know, he's a hard worker and everything. And
this year, you know, we bought a treadmill. My wife and I bought a treadmill and a rowing machine to go with our weights and our bicycle. And I've been playing catch, throwing 5 days a week since 1st of January. I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time.
Knepper wasn't the only Astro hoping to return to 1986 form. Glenn Davis was another. And Gerald Young wanted to pick up where he left off the season before after an outstanding last half of 1987.
My main job is to be a table setter, you know, get on for the big guys in the lower part of the lineup and play good defense and create some havoc on the base pass.
There was also a battle going on for 2 bullpen spots. One would be for a left-hander, and Juan Augusto got the nod, winning the job over former Astro Joe Sambito the last week of camp, a decision that would later prove to be good as gold. The Astros finished camp tying the club record for most spring wins, but everyone knew those victories didn't mean anything come April.
We know we can win, we're capable of winning, but talking about it doesn't get the job done. We've got to go out and do it.
Today's game program.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, on the mound, throwing out tonight's ceremonial first pitch, Mrs. R.E. Bob Smith.
The Astros opened at home against the San Diego Padres, and Mike Scott had the honors on the mound.
All right, here we go. Leading it off will be Jefferson. First pitch from Scott, swung on, popped up right side. Davis under, Davis there. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Houston's first run of the year came in the 4th inning.
Ready for a payoff. There's a drive to left, way back, going. Holy Toledo, the big bopper strikes again.
Through 7.5 innings, Mike Scott had allowed only 5 hits and was piling up the strikeouts.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. He ripped it through there and he struck him out. That's number 8, 7 of them swinging.
But the Padres led 3-1 until the Astros made some noise in the bottom of the 8th. Kevin Bass's pinch hit 2-run single tied the game.
2-run score, tie ball game, 3-3. Kevin Bass, pinch single.
And they got some more, thanks to Billy Hatcher.
It gets by. Jackson being waved home. And he will score the go-ahead run, 4-3 Astros.
Dave Smith came in and got the save. Scotty the victory, and the 6-3 win was a milestone, the Astros' 2,000th as a franchise.
And the Astros open 1988 with a 6-3 victory.
Less than 16 hours later, Bob Knepper took the mound for his first test of the season, and his teammates gave him a cushion in the 1st inning. Billy Doran knocking in a run against Andy Hawkins. Then Glenn Davis brought his big bat to the plate.
And he swings this time. There's a blast toward left field, and Moreland is at the base of the wall. It's a home run. 2 in 2 games for Glenn Davis.
Davis was off to a blazing start, and he attributed it to coming to camp with a signed contract and a new attitude.
Well, I think I was more relaxed, and that's one of the keys as far as becoming a good hitter is to get relaxed. It helps you to be a little bit more patient, and definitely I didn't have anything disturbing me, so I was able to do those things.
Knepper allowed 7 hits in 7 innings, but only 1 run, and the Astros had swept 2 in a row on the Dome's new magic carpet. But now it was time to take the show on the road to Cincinnati.
Why do you drive on a parkway and park in a driveway? If you send a package by ship, it's cargo, and if you send it by car, it's a shipment. Why is that?
Good question, Larry, but I've got one for you. How was anybody going to cool off Glenn Davis's hot bat? Tom Browning was giving it a heck of a try, being 1 out away from a shutout win in the opener at Riverfront. But then Billy Doran got a base hit to left, and that brought up, guess who? You got it.
2-0 Reds, 2 outs in the ninth. Davis breaks one, and it will go! Glenn Davis dramatically ties it. 3 home runs in 3 games. And
that sent it to extra innings. In the 13th, the Astros needed another long ball to keep it going. Alan Ashby delivering off reliever Frank Williams. Finally, in the 16th, Houston put it away with a 5-run rally that started with a single by, of all people, Larry Anderson.
Unbelievable.
Larry would be the winning pitcher, thanks in part to Billy Hatcher, who got the big hit, a 2-run single, and the Astros won it going away 8-3. The Astros lost for the first time the following day, but then stormed back with the big bats to take the rubber game of the series and get Mike Scott's second straight win. Once again, Glenn Davis connected.
Davis with a long ball, left field. That is another home run. A 3-run shot. And Glenn Davis has number 4 of the year.
Davis was leading the league in home runs and runs batted in.
That's my role. That's basically a power hitter and RBI man. I mean, everybody looks to that person to produce all the time. And the pressure's always there. One person can't carry a ball club. And the thing that I have to concentrate on is just going up there and being able to give it my best.
The Astros won that one with a pair of 5-run innings, the final blow coming in the 9th when Kevin Bass came up as a pinch hitter with the bases loaded.
Fly ball, deep left. It's going to be a grand slam. Holy Toledo. Bass is a pinch hitter. Puts one in orbit.
3 nights later in Atlanta, there was another big test. Jimmy Deshays was making his first start of the year after shoulder surgery in the offseason.
That was a big game for me. You know, I came out of spring training feeling fine. I went down to Osceola and pitched against the A-ball club, and they beat me up. So I started, geez, man, I can't get out of A-ball. But I felt good throughout the spring, but until you get in that first regular season game and get it out of the way, there's still some doubts.
But Deshays was simply masterful against the Braves, throwing a complete game 2-hitter that did wonders for his confidence.
Jim Deshays has equaled his career best, his second shutout of his major league career.
I had to prove to myself that I could go out and pitch, because you always tell yourself, you rationalize in spring training, well, I feel good, or at least I think I feel good, but am I really letting it out? Am I giving my shoulder the test that it needs to be given? Once you get in a regular season game, adrenaline takes over, the need to win takes over, and therefore you know you're not holding anything back. And I just let it go that game, and my arm felt great.
The Astros returned home with a vengeance, continuing their hot streak. Davis hit another homer and knocked in 5 runs in one game. The club was averaging 7 runs a contest and was off to one of its best starts ever. Glenn was one big reason, but pitching was another. Starters in April threw 21 straight outings of 6 innings or more. Mike Scott had the best April of his career, 4 wins in 5 starts, and none was better than April 20th in the Dome when he beat the Braves 1-0, outdueling left-hander Tommy Glavine.
Check swing, Doran flipping, and there it is. Mike Scott gets a shutout, a 4-hitter. And the Astros return to the win column.
I think I've thrown better at the start of the season for 2 or 3 years now anyway, just by not picking up the ball and doing my running and everything else, but I just don't throw till I get to Florida.
You getting stretches there where you feel unbeatable?
You get the stretches where you really feel in command, where you throw the ball where you want to, you feel strong, you have no injuries, no aches and pains, and you never know if you get a guy that shuts you out and you give up a run, you're not going to be unbeatable. I don't think I've ever felt unbeatable, but I felt at times where I was really in command out there, and if they got a few runs, I'd be surprised.
In right field. Okay, that's in right field, but it's in the mezzanine? Yeah. Okay, let me have 2 of them.
A week later, Astro fans almost witnessed history at the Dome. Nolan Ryan took the mound looking for his 3rd win of the year. And in the 3rd inning, Billy Doran gave Ryan a 2-run lead with a single that scored Rafael Ramirez and Gerald Young.
And that is the name of this game when you're winning. Guys pick each other up, and there was a classic case.
Through 5 innings, Philadelphia had yet to get a hit. And when Ryan struck out Milt Thompson looking, And then Juan Samuel to end the sixth. Nolan was 9 outs away from an unprecedented 6th no-hitter. Then in the top of the 7th, Mike Schmidt walked to open the frame. That brought up Von Hayes.
Doran, tough play, can't get it. There's a throw to second for the force, and they got him. Oh, it's not a base hit because Schmidt is forced at second base.
Doran injured his shoulder on the play, a problem that would bother him the rest of the season. But that was long-term. Right now, Billy and everyone else had only one thought in mind. Nolan had gotten a break, and he followed it by striking out Lance Parrish. And then Chris James. 6 outs to go.
Hey, got him, and Ashby tags him out.
Ryan cruised through the 8th with a strikeout sandwiched in between 2 groundouts, and now stood only 3 outs away from his first no-hitter in 7 years.
The guy gets that close and throwing that well, you think there's no way it's going to happen or that they're going to get a hit.
Former Astro Greg Gross led off the 9th.
Ryan can't get it. Doran can't play it.
Got to be an error.
It's an error on Doran.
And I was trying to make the play. I don't think it would have been I don't think I've had a chance, but I was going for it anyhow. I wasn't thinking about botching it just to save Nolan's no-hitter, but if I'd have fielded it clean and thrown it, it'd have been interesting to see if he'd have been safer out.
That brought up Samuel, who had already struck out twice in the game.
Strikeout number 9. 1 out.
Now the always dangerous Mike Schmidt, a Hall of Fame matchup, power hitter against power pitcher. The count went to 1-1.
Schmidt gets a base hit to center field. The no-hitter has ended, but the round of applause after 8 1/3. And the Phillies get their first base hit from Mike Schmidt.
I was in that situation. I was looking to get a dog play ball out there, and I felt like if I could get a curveball down, I left it on inside the plate. And he's the type of hitter. He's strong. He can, he doesn't have to hit the ball in a good part of the bat, and he just hit the ball in the right place.
I had a pitch in mind. I wanted to throw him a fastball in. Nolan wanted to throw him a curveball. We went with Nolan. It didn't work out, but I mean, the fastball may have been hit out of the ballpark. You never know. But it was just one of those things. I could see Mike jamming something, throwing something through the infield, and it's exactly what he did.
The no-hitter was gone, and 1 out later, so was the lead. Parrish doubling off the wall in left center to score Gross and pinch runner Bob Dernier. Dave Smith came on and pitched the 10th, and the Astros avoided an emotionally devastating loss in the bottom of the inning when Craig Reynolds pinch hit with the bases loaded. Phillies manager Lee Ilya, with 1 out, shifted his defense and had Keith Miller become a 5th infielder. But the strategy backfired, and Reynolds' high bouncer scored Glenn Davis for a 3-2 win.
This no-hitter would have been real special to me just because of the fact that all the things that have happened since '81 and the fact that I hadn't completed many games and, at my age, it would have meant a lot to me.
The left fielder, number 28, Billy Hatcher.
Billy Hatcher got warmed up in April, then caught fire in May, hitting .324 for the month with 35 base hits, the highest single-month total for any Astro. The 3rd week in May, Billy hit an incredible .536 and was named National League Player of the Month.
And Hatcher with a triple beats the throw. Hatcher gets another base hit. He's 2 for 2.
Don't be afraid to steal his base.
And when Billy hit, he was also able to run.
2 errors last night. Hatcher's going to be running. The throw down will be late. Stolen base.
Houston continued to run and run and run.
Here comes the runner, Doran. He's stealing home, and he's safe. Billy Doran steals home.
from Hatcher to Billy Doran to Kevin Bass to Terry Poole. But nobody stole more bases than Gerald Young.
It's no secret now, I guess. You know, when I get on, everybody knows I'm going to run. It's just a matter of when.
There goes Young. Tough pitch to handle. Fitzgerald floats it down, not in time.
Opposing pitchers and catchers learned when was often. On his way to a club record for the year, the G-Man stole 20 bases in May and was caught only 4 times.
The difference between this year and last year has been my first couple steps. I try to concentrate on that over the winter and try to be a little bit more explosive and keep my body lower to the ground, and I've had pretty good success.
Young's going. Pitch inside the throw. Safe.
There's been times where I, try to get a big enough lead where I can, sneak in and see the catcher signs, and even that hasn't helped me out most of the time. So the pitcher's the main guy you have to worry about.
Runner going, pitch out. Berryhill's throw sails a little bit, and he's safe.
Most of the time on the pitch outs, pitchers usually give it away 90% of the time. They usually speed up their delivery home, or they'll change their delivery, so to speak.
He's going, and there's strike 2, and the throw, he is safe.
Usually when I take a feet first slide, I usually think I have the base stolen, and just try to go in nice and easy. Whereas if I don't really get a good jump and I can sense that it'll be a close play, I usually try to go in head first and get my hands in there before anything else.
There goes the runner, and Glenn Davis. Here's the double steal. Throw to the plate. Gerald Young is safe.
And as the summer wore on, Young not only had gotten smarter, so had his victims.
Yeah, they've made a real big adjustment. Not so much the catchers, just the pitchers themselves. They've held the ball on me. They've gone to a shorter step when they go to home plate, and they've just changed their whole approach to me.
Pitching carried the club through May, with the ace of the staff being Bob Nepper, who won his first 6 decisions of the year on the way to becoming the Astros' only representative in the All-Star game. But on June 12th in the Dome, it was Mike Scott's turn to grab the spotlight again.
It didn't feel like I was overpowering, but, it's one of those days where when they hit the ball well, it was right at somebody. I remember an inning, the 4th or 5th inning there, they hit 3 line drives, one to the center fielder, one to the right fielder, and one to the left fielder. And if any one of those balls would have been, 10 yards right or left, either one of those guys would have had 3 hits in a row. But, you need some luck involved, too, for a no-hitter.
The crowd is caught up in the atmosphere of the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Mike Scott is working in the 8th inning. He hadn't walked anybody. He struck out 8. 12 hits in the game, a dozen, count them. Put them all in the Houston column.
Scott had pitched 8 innings of no-hit ball. Comfortable with a 5-0 lead, he faced pinch hitter Ken Griffey to open the 9th.
So Griffey up there now with a 2-strike count. Starting off the 9th inning, here's the pitch. Swinging, smashed on the ground to Doran. He dives. He's got it. He throws. Holy Toledo, what a play. Unbelievable effort by Doran. And there's one away in the 9th inning.
Albert Hall was the next hitter.
Boy, the fans in this ballpark for 3 straight games have been treated to some baseball. And a swing, bouncer first. Walling has it. He'll run to the bag. 2 away in the 9th. And now the stage is truly set.
Only Ken Oberkfell stood between Scott and his second no-hitter.
The crowd is up. Everybody's up in the Dome. Mike Scott, 1 out away. Here's the pitch. Swinging, and a base hit into right field.
Made the pitch I thought I'd get him out with, and I think it might have hung up a little bit, but he's a good hitter. He's going to make contact, and he just made too good a contact that time.
For the second time in 6 weeks, an Astros pitcher had come oh so close to a no-hitter. Both times, Scott and Ryan said they tried not to think about it until the 7th. But Alan Ashby was a little more anxious.
I think about it. I guess I've been somewhat preoccupied with a 4th no-hitter. I really would love to catch one. But I think that maybe you're not getting an entirely honest answer from those guys either. I noticed the stuff perking up after about 5 innings of a no-hitter, and I think the pitch selections and everything about it, provided we have a lead, changes a little bit in those games.
A week later, Bill Wood made a deal to strengthen the Astros infield, acquiring veteran Buddy Bell from Cincinnati for a minor leaguer. Bell arrived in Houston just in time to haunt his old team.
And it'll be out. What a play by Bell. Holy Toledo, throwing against the Grange. Down the line and left. And it dropped. It will be a double. Meadows scores. Buddy Bell with his first RBI as an Astro has tied it against his former teammates. Buddy Bell.
And the following evening, getting the game-winning RBI with another clutch performance.
McClendon going back, and he can't get it. Davis scores. Bass will score, and Bell in with a double. The Astros take a 3-1 lead.
Now, was that, people say, no, any game-winning hit is a good one, but was that a little bit special?
Well, considering the situation, I got a thrill out of it.
But no hitter in the Astro lineup was hotter in June and July than Terry Poole. The solution to Hal Lanier's problem in the 3 spot in the order, Terry hit .409 in a 10-week period that stretched to August.
I was just happy to be contributing this year. Any player, that's all they want. You know, there's no magic about it. They don't have to play every day. That's not the case. It's just to contribute to the ball club, come up in key instances, be used when you should be used. That's all a player ever asks.
And when you come through in the clutch, you get to keep playing. And one at-bat in Montreal illustrated the type of year Terry Poole had.
Pitcher Holmgren, I believe, had a 0-2 count on me, and he does throw a slider, and that was the pitch that I got. And I hit the ball out of the ballpark, but it was just a nice fluid swing, and it was nothing, you know, I never added anything to it. It was just, you know, it makes you sit back later and say, you don't have to swing all that hard, as long as the timing, the tempo is all there. Everything comes together in one piece. That's when you hit the ball the best.
Another of Terry's homers helped cap a dramatic series against the Mets just before the All-Star break. The Astros got a great performance from Bob Nepper, out-dueling Dwight Gooden to win the first game of the set. In Game 2, a 4-run 5th inning, all scoring with 2 outs, capped by Craig Biggio's first Major League run batted in on a bases-loaded walk, helped Nolan Ryan to a 6-3 win. That set up the finale. And from the 9th level skyboxes to the front row of the bleachers, fans anticipated a sweep. But going into the bottom of the 8th, David Cohn was protecting a 5-3 lead. Poole led off.
Poole to right field. Strawberry will say goodbye.
Houston wasn't through. In the 9th, with 2 outs, Billy Doran singled in Craig Reynolds, and the game was tied. With left-handed ace reliever Randy Myers pitching, Hal Lanier sent Rafael Ramirez up to bat for Poole.
He goes to left field, base hit. The Astros win it. Rafael Ramirez comes through.
A pretty good piece of work by a guy who would have a career-high 59 runs batted in on the year, despite considering himself not a very good hitter.
I'm really no good hitter, I can say, because I swing a lot of bad pitches, and that's the way I hit. I just try to, be more relaxed, and they don't help me. But as soon as I come in here to Houston, I just say I might gonna hit it, a little bit high because, I have a more chance. I hit the ball on the ground. I make a lot of funny swing, but I still make contact.
Ramirez would finish second among National League shortstops with a .276 average, as well as runs batted in with 59 and doubles with 30. But just as important, he provided better than expected defense, committing a career-low 23 errors, and teaming with Billy Doran to give the Astros one of baseball's best double play combinations.
He's outstanding. As soon as it hits his glove, he's got it to me, and he always has his body in position to throw. You don't have any problem picking up the ball, and he's quick, he's accurate, and like I say, everybody talked about, well, new shortstop, how long will it take you to get accustomed, and how long will it take you to get used to playing? And it took about 3 ground balls in spring training. That's all it took.
Ramirez will recover and throw and get him. Whoa! Loop to left field, could be trouble. Ramirez catches up with it. Oh, nice play by Ramirez, and he fires back to first. They got a double play.
Look at Ramirez. Holy Toledo, what a play.
Sometimes I get to the ball and I don't know how I release to the first base, and I got surprised myself.
If you take your left shoe off, your right one's left, right? How does a building burn up and burn down at the same time?
We'll get back to you on that, Larry. One serious question that got a lot of attention, though, was why Danny Darwin was so much better as a reliever than he was starting. Danny had his moments in both roles, complete games against the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Pirates, all at crucial times. But as a starter, he was 4-10 with a .459 earned run average. But in the middle of July, he was moved to the bullpen, to the delight of everyone except Danny himself.
I wasn't accustomed to it there at the beginning, and then things started working out, and I knew I was throwing the ball better out of the bullpen. I don't know whether I was challenging the hitters more or whatever.
In relief, Darwin was a different pitcher. 4 wins, 3 saves, and the ERA was cut more than half to 2.15. The bottom bullet had found a new home, and Darwin had his own theory on why the move was successful.
You know, you don't want to get beat with your third pitch, I think, in a situation when you come in from the bullpen. And my main 2 pitches are my fastball and my slider, and that's mostly what I throw when I come in relief. And I don't want to go get beat with my changeup, my split-finger fastball, and I probably haven't thrown a dozen of either one of those since I've been in the bullpen.
You don't have time to think about it. You know, you go out there, you're in the game, you have runners on or something. I think your concentration level is higher as a reliever than a starter.
Danny this year has been called to do all roles. He's been a short relief, long relief started, and he's done well in all of them. And not too many people can do that. I know I could, and I don't think my arm would take it.
And Anderson, for one, never could understand Danny's fascination with starting.
You know, you're only as good as your last out or your last game. And that's the good thing about that in relief is that, you know, you're in a lot of games, so you don't have to sit around and think, oh, geez, I did it again, I blew, I got to wait 5 more days. And if you have a couple bad games as a starter, you might as well be in a 2-week slump. As a reliever, you can have a couple bad games, you're only in a 2-day slump.
Darwin still ended up pitching more innings than any Astro pitcher except Ryan, Scott, and Deshays. But nobody made more appearances than the little lefty, Juan Augusto. He worked in a club record 75 games, not allowing a run in 56 of those.
Somebody gives you so much confidence. It's like you walk in there and you say, you know you're going to get everybody out. And plus, I put something in my mind that I think could help. I say, I'm going to try to be the best left-hander in the league. Either if it don't happen, I think that's started to help a little bit.
It must have helped a lot because from April to August, Juan broke a team record with the National League leading 10 consecutive wins. Another career best that he didn't expect.
I saw that I was going to pitch good. I mean, I never said I was going to get 10 wins. I mean, I think you got to be lucky to be out of the bullpen and get so many wins. And then 10 in the row, never.
How much do you throw that sinker when it's on?
Well, I say I throw 95%.
They know what's coming, and
they know what's coming, and just keep it low and let the fielders do the job.
And when Augusto wasn't getting wins, Dave Smith was often picking up saves. On the way to setting a club record for career appearances by a pitcher, Smitty made good on 27 of 32 save opportunities. Early in August, record crowds were drawn to the Dome for a key series with the Dodgers. Deshays against Hershiser in the opener, and the Astros struck early.
Both clubs have come out blazing in the first inning. Score. Caminetti to third base. The Astros take a 3-2 lead.
Houston would take 3 of 4 from L.A. and eventually move within half a game of first place. Scott throwing a complete game to win the finale.
Dell is there with Young, and it is Gerald Young making the play to end the shutout and an overwhelming win for the Houston Astros.
Isn't it a coincidence that Washington and Lincoln were both born on holidays? Yeah, if this is Labor Day, why isn't everybody working?
Well, because some fans wanted to come to the Dome to say goodbye to an old friend, Larry. Commemorative posters were passed out Labor Day night, signifying the end of an era. The scoreboard spectacular was being dismantled to make room for more seats. The Astrodome was Judge Roy Hoffheinz's showcase, and the one-of-a-kind scoreboard was its marquee. While thousands of workers were constructing the 8th wonder of the world, Judge Hoffheinz was looking for the ultimate in both entertainment and information, and he found it in Des Moines, Iowa. Fair Play Scoreboard Company sold Astrodome officials on their design with a miniature message board and a scaled-down version of the Home Run Spectacular. Soon, work began on the world's largest scoreboard, a $2 million masterpiece, 474 feet wide and over 4 stories high. It weighed 300 tons and utilized 1,200 miles of wiring to create the sports world's most elaborate showpiece. During breaks in the action on the field, it featured an Astrolite animation board that entertained crowds with 10,500 photoelectric cells. That Astrolite board has since been replaced by a state-of-the-art Diamond Vision screen. On either side of that center screen were 2 message boards that kept fans abreast of lineups, scores elsewhere in baseball, plus promotions and advertisements. But the highlight of this show was then, and always has been, the Home Run Spectacular. More than half an acre of computer-sequenced lights, 14,000 of them in all. From behind the huge board high above center field, you can see hundreds of thousands of tiny openings in the face of the display, necessary to prevent echo and improve acoustics in the building. The elaborate system was unlike any other, and fans flocked from all over the world to see the 45-second-long spectacular, controlled by a huge console on the press level behind home plate. Any Astro home run signaled the start of the 4-act show. It begins with the long ball busting through the dome roof and spanning the length of the board. That was followed by a pair of gunslingers at each end. Serenaded by the eyes of Texas, Judge Hoffines didn't want anyone to forget where they were. A bull sporting Texas and American flags got fired up while a cowboy galloped across the outfield to rope his steer. And finally, a cluster of rocket-like fireworks went off to finish the display. Baseball ambassador Satchel Paige was amazed, exclaiming, "This place is something else." Don Drysdale called the show fascinating.
I was senior in high school when they opened the dome, and the big talk was, well, first about the indoor stadium, and then the scoreboard certainly, I think, was as big of an attraction as the dome itself.
People were actually saying, let's go see the Astros, let's go see the scoreboard. It was that big a show.
Well, that was certainly the talk, was that you had to see the scoreboard, and everyone came with anticipation that the Astros would hit a home run, so you get to see the scoreboard go off, because I think it was ahead of its time. There wasn't anything to compare to it.
But while the show made fans happy, some opponents weren't too thrilled initially.
Took some time before all that hullabaloo, or what do you want to call it, was finished with. And
I think a lot of the players, and particularly the pitchers for the opposing teams at first, felt like the scoreboard showed them up, because it was such a long, it's about a minute, I guess, in duration, and they really didn't want to pitch with all that commotion going on, so they had to stand there and endure it. And I guess Bill Veeck started it in Chicago with the fireworks display, but this was the first electronic home run display, and I don't think the visiting teams liked it very much.
One of our pitchers threw a home run ball, and he wasn't concerned about the home run ball as much as he was with all the noise and the racket on the scoreboard. And one of our pitchers says, "Well, don't throw the damn thing the next time and you won't have it."
Bob Aspromonte was the first player to hit a regular season homer and light up the scoreboard in the dome. And it looked like Kevin Bass would be the last until Glenn Davis came up in the 9th inning the next night.
I was thinking about it the night before. I said, wow, it sure would be nice to hit the last home run in the Astrodome. bam, it was hit. It was a real high one, you know, so I'm kind of sitting there thinking, you know, is it going to go? Is it going to go? You know, and everybody's up there, you know, waiting to see if the scoreboard's going to go off, and it took a while for it to get out.
Glenn Davis would finish the year with 30 homers and 99 runs batted in. There was one other Glenn Davis home run that was memorable. It came in Montreal in July when Pascual Perez tried to surprise him with an eephus pitch, the old blooper.
Eephus. And he sends it to left. And it will go out of here. They say you have to hit it the way it's pitched. But Glenn didn't hear him.
You know, the ball kind of took forever to get up there, and then all of a sudden it was an explosion. As I was going around the bases, I was thinking about back when I used to play softball. I said, well, if he only knew that I played softball, he would have never thrown me that pitch, you know.
There were plenty of milestones for the Astros in '88. Late in September, Gerald Young broke 2 records with 1 stolen base.
There goes Young. The pitch is a ball. Benedict's throw. He is safe. Gerald Young gets a club record for stolen bases with his 62nd of the year, and it sets the Astros club record, too, with 195 stolen bases for the Astros in 1988.
Have we seen the best of Gerald Young yet?
I certainly hope not.
Is there 100 stolen base here and there somewhere?
Well, 100 steals is something I never really thought about, but, you know, earlier in the year when I was on that pace, I thought in the back of my mind, well, maybe it is possible for me to steal 100 bases.
Nolan Ryan was magnificent in September, hurling 2 straight complete games without a walk and striking out a league-high 13 Cincinnati Reds on the way to his 2nd straight strikeout title.
He struck him out. Game is over. 13 strikeouts for Ryan. Holy Toledo, what a pitching job.
The last weekend of the season, Rocky Childress set a league high for strikeouts by a reliever, fanning 8. The Astros staff had the distinction of featuring 6 pitchers with 1,000 career strikeouts. Ryan, of course, Bob Forsch acquired the day before the trading deadline, Bob Nepper, and reaching that mark this season, Mike Scott in April, Joaquin Andujar in May, and Danny Darwin in July. The Astros' 6 double plays in a game, May 8th in Montreal, was a league high, as was the club's 4 Grand Slam homers, all coming on the road, the last Billy Doran's in August at Candlestick Park. And speaking of Doran, despite being nagged by injuries all year long, he led all second basemen with a .988 fielding percentage.
Oh, what a play. Out number 2.
The Dome was the place to be in '88. Almost 2 million of you must have felt that way as the Astros drew their 3rd highest attendance total ever. The luxury suites on the 5th level made their debut in July. And a little higher up, Doug Rader and Jimmy Wynn got their numbers on seats, commemorating their long-distance home runs just days apart in 1970. Fans got to see Vice President George Bush make a different kind of campaign pitch later in the season. Even the future major leaguers, the Northwest Spring All-Stars, who came within 1 win of the Little League World Series, got to mingle with the Astros. Some new faces made impressive debuts, like John Fishel, who made this catch in his first major league start in Atlanta.
Running grab.
The catch, it was kind of in the lights for a minute, and for a split second I was going, oh boy, what's going to happen now?
Right-handed reliever Brian Meyer compiled a 1.46 earned run average in 12 September innings. But his most vivid memory is a pitch he got away with, a hanging slider to Eric Davis.
I wanted to break off a good slider, and it just so happened I didn't, and probably thank God I didn't, because he missed it anyway.
Another rookie, Cameron Drew, hit .356 at Tucson, but spent September with the Astros wondering if he should sacrifice the average for more power.
you know, being 6'5", 230 pounds, and says, "You hit 4 home runs?" It's like, yeah. And in recent years, I've hit quite a few home runs. Whether it was the stroke I had this summer, or I just don't know what. There's no excuses. I mean, I hit the ball hard, you know, consistently, and I hit the ball on the line. I just wasn't getting under it, and when I did hit it a long way, it was off the wall in Tucson.
And last but not least, Craig Biggio got a call up in June and had a busy summer. His first major league hit came off Oral Hershiser. His first home run, a game winner off Goose Gossage in Chicago. But not all of Biggio's on-the-job training went smoothly.
I told my father when I first came up, I go, "Dad, I'm going to make a highlight film. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make a highlight film." And my first week up, I had the fly ball in Philadelphia, which I fell backwards over and missed the ball by about a good foot, and that was one of the humiliating things that happened to me. And tried to steal first base when on 3 balls and 1 strike. There was another highlight film. And you got to laugh at him. I mean, that's the only way you can look at it.
Now Art Howe takes over the reins of the Astros, and he plans on managing the same way he played.
I played hard when I played. Every time I walked between those lines, they knew I was going to give them everything I had, and they know that's what I'm going to expect from them, and anything less is not going to do.
This club can win?
Oh, definitely. They've proven that in the past. There's very few changes here since '86, and they won in '86, and there's no reason to believe they can't win again in '89.
Well, beginner's luck wouldn't be bad, would it?
That's for sure, you know. I can always take that.
We leave you with some of the great plays from the past year, the kinds of performances Howe is hoping for more of in '89.
I'm Bill Dorn of Houston. Just Bill Dorn. Hi, I'm Bill.
Hi, I'm Mike Scott. What am I doing with the Houston Astros?
Watch the Astros all
Okay.
season long.
Hi, I'm Mike Scott. Watch the Astros all season long on KIDI. But it's DY.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave. Hi, this is Dave Smith of the Houston Astros. You can watch. No, not with the Houston Astros.
Hi, this is Gerald Young of the Houston Astros. Watch the...
That's fun.
Yeah, why does sour cream have an expiration date? What did pioneer mothers do about static cling and ring around the collar?
Hey kids, want to learn how to play baseball like the pros? Attend a Skittles Youth Baseball Clinic during the Astros 1989 season for Major League tips on hitting, fielding, pitching, and more, straight from Astro players and coaches. Clinics are free with your tickets to each day's game, and all clinics are on Saturdays. Plan now to be on the field with the Astros for clinics on April 8th, April 29th, May 20th, June 4th, or September 16th. For group information, call 713-799-9567.